in this hostile environment, it just came up short. Speak to me about the game plan coming into today's game.
I thought we did well with our plan, We'd probably try to roll him out after the first 20-25. We conceded a goal which was of a set piece, and that's one of the areas that we emphasize to the group, that we need to be alert, especially to certain people and especially to the goal scorer. Because on at least 2 to 3 occasions in the game, he broke away free. So we were very fortunate there. So I'd say a lapse in concentration on the set piece. And then for the second goal, we got caught in possession when clearly it should have been a play that should have advanced the ball further up the pitch. And we lost it in a critical area. Coincidentally, the foul that the goalkeeper committed was something similar to what he did in training yesterday morning, and I spoke to him about the dangers of how he goes in, right? And of course, it happened again here today in a 3-point situation. I think we did enough to get something out of the game, but I think that just in the final third, especially with Tivoli open and really flinging bodies forward, we should have made better decisions. We found ourselves in some good positions. 1v3s, 2v3s, and we didn't make full advantage of it, But I still think that this was a game in which the spoil should have been shared.
Yes, but just to touch on one player in Lemar Rose, he's back today. Didn't get, the run of play what he would like. But just speak to me on how important is this relationship between you and the staff with Lemar, and talk to me about his quality that that the influx he has.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that Lemar wasn't available prior to now. Lemar was overseas actually and came back for the funeral for Balranita, and much as I was prompting him to really make an earlier return. But it happened at the time that it did, and he said that he is committed to us for the rest of the season. He's going to give it his all, as he realized he probably would have gotten about 25 minutes, which is what he had indicated that would have been sufficient for him. We do have a very good relationship, and the relationship with the coaches is also excellent with him, and we expect for the remaining couple of games that his influence will bear down on the team.
Coach, you mentioned the tactic in the first half. I guess similar to against Cavalier last week, to be compact in defence. Start of the second half, when Tivoli was up the upper hand, it felt like Harbour View trying to match him stride for stride. In hindsight, do you believe that you should have been compact and weather that storm?
No, in hindsight, the changes should have been made a bit earlier. That goal would have been scored just immediately as I was about to make those 3 changes. Those 3 changes were pretty much very attacking options, and it would have added more quality to our attack. As you could see for the remainder of the game, they really did get on the ball and possess it a bit more. As I said, we got caught on the ball itself with people moving forward into positions, and then they stole it from us and advanced to the goal. Those changes, just as I say in hindsight, probably could have been made a bit earlier.
All right, Coach, it's another loss on the road. Can you tell us what's the difficulty for pick up points away from the compound?
Well, we always knew that coming here was going to be a very difficult task. It is never easy ground to get a result. As a matter of fact, Tivoli would have gained points in all of their games that they would have played. We know it would have been hostile. But I was pretty confident that we were up for the task here today. We had some very senior campaigners on the pitch, and of course the mentality was very strong, in particular from Reed and Murray, as 2 persons who are from the community, right? But I would say that on any other day probably would have gotten something more out of this kind of game for this team.
All right, Coach, and finally, I'm not sure you're aware, Mullines won their game. Humber Lion picked up points.
Yes.
So what's the mindset now? Thinking, are you still confident?
The mindset is that we have 2 games remaining and we need to get maximum points from them. We're not holding back anything. That's exactly as it is right now.
All right, thank you.
How difficult is it for the club to take on this challenge?
No, I was expecting a difficulty with Cavaliers and Tivoli Gardens. As I said, this game was a game of small margins, and we lost eventually. But I am thinking that with the mindset that we are in and the mode that we are in, which is a survival one, I think we can get by.
Not a mindset that Harbour View is used to, surviving, usually challenging.
No, definitely not. Usually challenging, but then again, if we are at the other end of the spectrum, then we have to continue fighting.
And you definitely feel the players have that will to really pursue it and
well,
see the team
our
over
task as coaches is to get them up, and they have a responsibility to us to really see to it that the club remains in the top league.
All right, coach, respect.
All right.
Respect.